For me, I felt like communication with Mitzi was super easy. I felt like she was very quick to respond to emails or to text message. Um, I feel that she makes herself very readily available to us by giving us her cell phone number, her office number, her email. She was always available for text, call, um, anything, and also available at all hours of the night, because I do remember getting some email responses very late at night or very early in the morning. So for me, like, communication with Mitzi was extremely easy, and I had no issues with that. I feel like Mitzi has really high expectations of her students in the program, rightfully so, and I feel that she really tries to motivate us to be our best selves and motivate us to become, the best possible medical technologist we can. She even, motivates us to continue our education after her program. And I feel like her expectations of us are just to, do great and exceed in the program, and then exceed in the workforce after finishing her program. I think that working with Bethany was easy. I don't have really any reservations or anything working directly with her. The only thing I think that I had an issue about was, I feel personally that maybe she doesn't have enough experience working in the actual field, given that she kind of did her clinicals and then went straight into being Mitzi's assistant. I felt that there were times that maybe she didn't know the procedure or know exactly what we were doing, so Mitzi had to step in a lot. And I think, like, the idea is that eventually, Mitzi will step way back and Bethany will take over. And I'm just curious if maybe her working in the field somehow, even if it's just some clinical hours here and there, if that would maybe benefit future students. I just felt like maybe that part was difficult for me. Other than that, like, communication with her was always easy. She was very responsive and, you know, uh, responsive to her emails and stuff. So I never had any issues with that. I just am curious if maybe she would benefit from some more time in the actual field. In order to get your theory completed, I feel like you need to set aside a significant amount of time weekly to complete your assignments and to study. I feel like I didn't do the best job at this. I'm a working mom as well, and I have a child, and so a lot goes into that, obviously, but I felt like, each week you should set aside a certain amount of time to complete your theory, and maybe be consistent about it. Like, on Monday, I'm going to do 1 hour, but on Wednesday, I might do, 30 minutes or something. But then on Friday, I've got to do multiple hours, however it works really with your schedule is, how you would figure it out. But for me, I tend to wait till the weekend to cram everything in before Sunday night, because that's when I got time alone away from the busy, like, schedule that I have. So I think it's beneficial to be able to set that time aside, a few days a week, if not every day, just a few minutes every day. That would be ideal, obviously, but for me that wasn't attainable. But that's what I think, just setting aside that time that's specifically for me doing my work today, and then, you'd be able to get it completed in a timely manner. Personally, I think the skills labs are the most important thing we did all year. I think for me, it was us actually applying what we're doing at home. Every day when we're on Media Labs and when we're on Canvas, we're learning and we're doing the theory, but physically doing it is completely different. So for me, skills labs put 2 and 2 together in my brain, made things click like that, so that I could potentially take that into the workforce as well. there's no way I would have been able to do the program or to grasp most of the things had I not seen it in person, which I am a hands-on learner. So for me, that they were just super, super important. And I think that Mitzi did a good job at like packing everything she could in the short amount of time we had. Potentially, you know, I would have probably liked a little bit more time in that, but that's the way that it works out for her program. So yeah, I mean, I think she packed everything she could into the time that we had, and I think that was super beneficial for me as the way that I learn. Putting it all together in clinicals for me was different because going from the class setting and going from like the online setting to clinicals, it's completely different. Obviously, there are things that are the same, and every hospital that you go to is going to be different. So I thought that was interesting too. But, you know, putting what you learned when you go to clinicals and you see something, you're like, oh, ding, I learned this in class, and the light bulb goes off, you know? So you're like, oh, I learned this in class, like, this is so easy. But then there are other things where you're like, we went over this, but I'm not super familiar, you know? So then your evaluator is really helping you one-on-one, like, with that once you go to clinicals. So for me, like, it was a mixture of both. Like, I was putting stuff together in class, but then also I was like, oh, I don't really remember that. I don't really know how that works. And then I was getting a lot of help from my evaluator, and that was super beneficial. I think that Mitzi's interviewing skills are super beneficial for people going into the field. I think that I don't think that interviewing is something we've learned in high school or as young adults or anything like that. So there were a lot of things that she said that I wasn't super familiar with. There are a lot of things that my parents instilled on me, but I don't know of any other programs that are preparing you to work in the field. You know, they're preparing you to graduate, they're preparing you to pass your exam, you know, but they're not preparing you to go out into the field and apply these things that you learned in class as far as interviewing and negotiation goes. For me, negotiation is a little uncomfortable because I don't feel super confident saying, oh, that's not enough money, I would like this. You know, I don't feel comfortable saying that. I told Mitzi that. That's just awkward for me, but I get where she's coming from. I understand the idea behind it. You know, for me, like, I signed the scholarship at my hospital, so negotiation wasn't really an option for me. It was kind of just, you take the position you're getting and you don't have a choice. But eventually, if I were to go somewhere else, I would know my worth and know, like, I was getting paid this at this hospital, I have this many years of experience eventually, and I would know that I'm worth, you know, more than X amount or whatever. So I would probably be able to negotiate more once it came down to it, eventually if I ever move hospitals or accept another position.